Have you ever heard a story so unnerving that the land itself feels like it remembers every scream trapped beneath it? People say Mercer County hides one of the most chilling paranormal sites in West Virginia, a place where a forgotten amusement park continues to run long after it was torn down. Witnesses claim they still hear calliope music drifting across the fields, with no human anywhere near it. Year 1926, Mercer County, West Virginia. The haunting began long before anyone understood why the farmland carried the sound of laughter and crying at the same time. That summer, a traveling company called Three Rivers Amusements built a tiny rural park on open land near a quiet road. It was supposed to bring joy to the farming families scattered across the hills. But the moment the carousel turned for the first time, strange incidents began. Farmers working the fields said they saw a tall figure with a pale painted face standing at the tree line every evening. Children pointed at him, certain he belonged to the park. But workers insisted no performer matched that description. The figure never moved. He only stared toward the rides, as if guarding something no one could see. One humid July night, a 7-year-old girl named Emily Cotter entered the funhouse with 2 friends. Only the friends came out. Emily vanished without a cry, without a trace, and without a single footprint leading away from the structure. The park shut down instantly, but the terror that followed never did. Families living nearby reported their windows shaking at exactly 12:08 a.m., the same minute the lights inside the funhouse had failed the night Emily disappeared. Others heard carousel music floating over the dark fields, even though every ride had been dismantled and hauled away. Some claimed they saw a Ferris wheel turning in the moonlight when there was nothing standing there. By the early 1930s, the land became an empty field again, but people swore the carnival kept running in the dark. Hunters avoided it, travelers hurried past it. Locals whispered that the painted man still walked the edges of the trees, waiting for something or someone to return. Decades later, when the land changed owners, surveyors uncovered what no one in 1926 had known. Beneath the amusement park lay the remains of an isolated 19th century settlement lost to a fever outbreak. Many of the graves were unmarked. Most belonged to children. The amusement company had built its attractions directly over the burial ground, without realizing it. Researchers now believe the hauntings were not tied to the rides at all. They were tied to the disturbed souls beneath them. The painted man was said to be the spirit of the old caretaker who buried the settlement's dead. The phantom carnival lights were the restless echoes of children who never found peace. The shaking porches, the midnight music, the flickering figures. Every sign was a warning that the land had never been silent. Some say if you stand in the fields on a warm night, you can hear faint laughter mixed with crying, as if the past refuses to fade. If this one chilled you, then you are not done yet.
Do you know there is a place in Pennsylvania where people swear the forest itself opens into another world? A place so feared that locals refuse to go there after sunset? Year 1940s, Pelham Township, York County. A quiet piece of rural Pennsylvania, until the strange reports began. For decades, people living near the woods talked about the same thing. Growls that moved between the trees, lights that had no source, heavy footsteps circling anyone who stepped too deep. And the strangest part? Everyone said the air changed the farther you walked, as if each section of the forest belonged to a different world. Most brushed it off as superstition, until they found the structure, a tall, rusted iron gate standing deep in the woods. No house, no road, nothing else around it, just one gate leading nowhere. People called it Gate 1. After that discovery, dozens of stories surfaced. Some swore they found a second gate. Others claimed they saw as many as 5, and some insisted that all 7 revealed themselves only at night, but only to certain people. Visitors reported the same pattern. The deeper they went, the colder the air felt, the darker the woods became, and the more the world behind them seemed to disappear. People said the silence felt unnatural, too still, too hollow, as if something was waiting. Some hikers turned back after hearing low growling that followed them step for step. Others described whispered voices from different directions at once. A few said they felt an invisible force tug their clothes as if pulling them forward. But the most disturbing reports came from those who saw the last gate, an old stone arch standing in complete darkness, colder than winter air, motionless, silent, too perfect to be natural. Those who claimed they reached it said they felt something behind that final arch. Not a creature, not a ghost, but a place that was not part of this world. Most ran. A few did not return. Locals named it the 7 Gates of Hell. For years, people believed an asylum once stood here and burned down, releasing the patients into the woods. But no records were ever found. No blueprints, No fire reports. No trace of a building that large. So where did the gates come from? Here is where the story shifts. Old township files mention a man from the early 1900s, a reclusive landowner and experimenter named Dr. T.K. Eisenhower. He owned a massive piece of forest land and spent years building unexplained structures in the woods. He was obsessed with the idea that certain locations acted like crossing points between worlds. When he died, his property was abandoned. The forest swallowed everything. Locals say the gates were not meant to keep something out. They were meant to keep something in. Today, only the first gate is visible to everyone. The others appear and disappear depending on the person, the night, and the silence of the woods. People who go searching after dark come back pale, shaking, and unable to explain what they saw. They say the forest bends in impossible ways. They say the air feels thinner. They say the ground goes silent. And they all describe the same final warning. When you reach the last gate, do not step through. Do not look behind it, and never call out a name, because something will answer. No one knows what Dr. Eisenhower tried to contain, and no one has been brave enough to find out. But locals still whisper the same thing. If you ever walk those woods at night, and the trees suddenly go silent, you may already be inside the first gate.